I want to talk about digital strategy for social impact 2.0. That's going to be my major focus for all of 2024. Obviously, a lot of electoral stuff as well. A lot of big things happen in the world. But you might ask yourself, Brad, what is digital strategy for social impact 2.0? And that's what I'm going to explain. And explain to you why it's such an important thing we need to all be focusing on and thinking about. We have seen amazing growth, amazing things happen with digital strategy for social impact. And when I say social impact, I'm talking about nonprofits, charities, political campaigns, labor unions, anything where you're working on a social movement or a social good sort of thing, right? There are even some businesses that are involved in social impact, right? Digital strategy for social impact. So we're not selling a thing, right? We're engaging people to do a thing, right? And that is a major difference between kind of these two splits in digital strategy. And then there's obviously really different ways to go about your strategy depending where you are. But the 2.0 part, I kept coming back to one big conclusion through last year. We were having our summits, we were doing trainings, working on accelerators and cohorts. And what we kept saying was like, oh, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have shifted. We've seen some big shifts. Oh yeah, it makes sense that feels harder because things aren't working like they did before. And it's really started to crystallize for me over the last, I think it really started in 2018 when you see some big shifts in privacy, in how Facebook manages groups and shifting timelines. All of these platforms have been shifting and changing, right? But there's a pretty linear progression to what you could expect as an organization. You put in work, you follow some best practice playbooks, and you're probably going to get the results that come from those playbooks, right? How are we doing acquisition for email? How are we growing our following on social media and how we're actually getting real impact from that, right? And it was real. We were getting real impact from all kinds of different resources and sources. And, how are we thinking about design and how are we thinking about video and all of these different things had a pretty linear progression through the 2010s. 2018, we saw things really start to shift. And I think by 2021, 2022, the landscape had wildly changed. What it meant to send good email and email deliverability and how do you actually get into someone's inbox and not get marked as spam, the thresholds for that have wildly increased. Huge shakeups in that with the iOS 15. iOS 15 had a huge impact on email programs and being able to understand how do you track the programs, but also in digital advertising, right? So most organizations relied on digital advertising to build their email list, right? Or they were getting great growth from social. And the algorithms all changed wildly overnight. We saw this growth, kind of steady trajectory where, first it was links, then it was text, then it was images, then it was video, then it was live stream video. One thing we've seen is the rise of first person social media. And so Twitter was really big at that, right? So it's not totally new. LinkedIn and Twitter, often the best content is the first person based content. Whereas Facebook, you could do a lot from an organizational standpoint. Now we're in a whole new ball game where creators and influencers and first person generated video doesn't have to be from a creator or an influencer. When we say creator or influencer, we're talking about people who have reach and real impact within a particular community, right? So these things have wildly changed. And, we as organizations, we have a lot of work to do to figure out how do we adapt and how do we play in this new space. And that's not the only thing that's changed. Google Analytics has made wild, big changes. And so just how do we think about our data analytics and why did some of it change? Because we have deeper insights in thinking about how people are interacting on the internet. And in the last 5 years, we have hit, in developed countries, pretty close or as close as we may ever get to universal adoption of smartphones, right? And a lot of people are engaging, over 50% of people who are engaging with the internet is on a mobile device, right? In developing countries, it's even higher, right? Because that is the main portal to the internet, right? And so we are seeing these huge fundamental shifts. And, what's happening, right? When people are experiencing the internet there, how we think about our websites have to change. How we think about interacting with people has to change. The rise of SMS, right? So we don't need to just think about SMS as an afterthought. It has to be a core piece of our programs, right? But it also means we need a great mobile experience on our website. We actually just need a great experience on our website, period, right? And so all of these things have gone through major shifts and changes. There are rules, regulations, changing, shifting. And I don't think anyone has a clear grasp on it. And to shake it up even more, AI is real and it is here. And there are organizations who are leveraging AI tools right now to improve their workflows, to gain capacity, right? They're using tools in a smart and strategic way to gain capacity, right? Every organization I know working in social impact does not have the capacity that it needs, right? There are other big fundamental things that we need to be thinking about. But the one undercurrent that I've seen that has continued to be true is the fundamentals of digital strategy hold. Understanding audiences, audience personas, what is good engagement, being thoughtful about a user experience. These things all hold true. And so when you blend the fundamentals into these new strategies, but we need more adaptive strategies also. Running the old playbooks, you kind of got to stop. If you're like, I don't know why just sending more emails and getting us more donations. It's because the landscape has changed and it's time to adapt. And I need folks to kind of join me on that journey, right? So over the course of this year, we are going to be digging deep into all things digital. And of course, we always do that, but with kind of this new lens that we are in a new landscape, that the old playbooks won't work. And I think we are going to see crystallize even more. Before you could do a little bit of an adaptive playbook. Oh yeah, if you're not at this size, maybe don't do this thing. I think we're really going to see more and more organizations should really be thinking about what social platforms they operate on, period. Not just like, oh yeah, we're on the main one and then the others, right? We're definitely on Facebook. And I think organizations are going to really have to consider, like, do we really even have much of a presence there? Does it matter? Are we reaching anyone? And while that's always been true, it will be more important to adapt to this moment than ever before. And it will change. Nothing will stay the same through this year nor next year. And that's part of the 2.0 era. That picking up a playbook from last year is probably not going to get it done for you, right? It may, if you're grabbing some best practices on how to do a good video, how to tell a great story, that's going to stay true. On which platform to do it and how to do it is going to change. Styles are rapidly changing. People's expectations are rapidly changing. And the interfaces in which we use the internet are changing. And so it's important for you to understand that. So I hope you join me on this big journey throughout this year. And, would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, what you're seeing in these big shifts, what impacts they're having on you, and what's going on for you in this new digital strategy for social impact 2.0 landscape.